Hi everyone, Assalamu alaikum, and welcome back to English for IT. It's been so long since the last time we had a lecture. Okay, we stopped for like more than a week because of the midterm and all the lakhbata that happened with the coronavirus and everything. So I'm glad you're back. Let's continue with our book and with our course. Now we are done with the midterms. خلصنا الاختبار النصفي يا جماعة. علاماتكم موجودة على الصفحة، بتقدروا تشوفوها بأي وقت. والعلامات جيدة، مستوى العلامات جيد بشكل عام. و في ناس علاماتها سيئة طبعا، بس يعني بشكل عام متوسط العلامات جيد. الناس اللي ما جابت علامات يعني كويسة، مش عارف شو أحكي يعني. إيش ممكن أسهل من هيك يا جماعة؟ يعني الامتحان كان أسهل شيء ممكن. فالناس اللي ما زبطت تشد حالها يا جماعة. في لسه عندكم كويز تاني وعندكم واجبات وعندكم الاختبار النهائي، فمعكم فرصة إنكم تحسنوا وضعكم وتستدركوا اللي فاتكم واللي راح عليكم. Okay, let's continue with Unit 6. Last time we stopped with the first lesson of Unit 6. Page 46. So now today let's continue with page 47 and exercise number 5. Okay, this is a vocabulary exercise. Complete this dialogue with the words in the books. We have these words: about, you know, the preposition about. We have change, you know, change. Devices, الأجهزة يعني. Necessary means important, necessary, essential, أساسي يعني. Problem, speed, should, متذكرين should من unit 4. User, and then lastly what. Okay, so read this dialogue between Boris and Ihsan. Take a minute or 2 minutes, pause the video, read the dialogue, and try to fill the gaps. Try to complete the missing words here and there. وبعدين ارجعوا so that we can check our answers and see the correct answers. Okay? Okay, so we'll come back. Let's check our answers. So, Boris, I have a problem with the network download speed. With the network download speed. إيش يعني يا جماعة network download speed؟ يعني سرعة التنزيل على الشبكة. والله كلنا عندنا مشاكل يا أستاذ بوريس في الموضوع. What can you suggest؟ إيش يعني what can you suggest يا جماعة؟ يعني شو بتقترح؟ What can you suggest؟ فمتذكرين إحنا بيونت 4 أخذنا كيف how can we suggest something؟ We use should, we use you should do this, you would, okay. إذا متذكرين should أهم حاجة أخذناها to suggest. So today we will learn new ways of suggesting. إيش إحسان حكى له؟ إحسان replied, why don't you change the hub? Why don't you change the hub? I don't think that will work. The hub is fine. Okay, how about adding a repeater then? هي كمان طريقة جديدة. صاروا 3. I'm not sure it will help. It's not a problem with the signal strength. Okay, then you should check the cables and network devices to make sure that they are compatible with your network. Boris, what about changing the modem? I don't think it's necessary. I think it's a problem with the bridge, switch, or the router. You should look at the specifications. Okay, I will. Thank you for your help. Why don't you check user recommendations on the internet as well? Good idea. I'll do that. Tamam? So this is the conversation between Boris and Ihsan, where Ihsan is making suggestions to Boris, and in number 6, Boris is making a suggestion, and then they accept or refuse these suggestions. Okay. طيب ايش معناها يا جماعه؟ مذكرين قلنا بيونت 4 we studied how to use should to make a suggestion. You should do this. Okay. I think you should do that, etc. Today we will learn 3 new ways of suggesting, of making suggestions. The first one is why don't you, or why don't we, or why don't I, etc. مع infinitive without to. Infinitive without to, the bare infinitive. For example, why don't you call the IT desk, the IT help desk? Why don't you? إيش يعني؟ Why don't you call؟ يعني ليش ما تكلم الجماعة؟ فأنا كان بيقول له كلمهم. ليه ما تجرب كذا كذا؟ معناها جرب، صح؟ ف why don't you call معناها إنه call. You should call the IT help desk. تمام؟ فهذه الطريقة بالsuggesting، بالاقتراح، يعني اقترح شغلة عن طريق يقول لك إنه why don't you do this or that, which means do this or that. طب another way, how about. How about. كمان واحدة, what about. So see the examples. What about buying a new router? What about. إيش يعني what about؟ يعني ماذا عن. ماذا عن شراء راوتر جديد؟ What about buying a new router؟ طب اللي بعدها, how about reading the instructions first. How about معناها برضو نفس what about, إنه شو رأيك نعمل كذا؟ ماذا عن كذا كذا. تمام؟ ف we have 3 new ways of making suggestions. Why don't you, or why don't we, how about, and what about. الفرق إنه why don't you زي should بيجي بعديها الانفينيتيف. You should do this and that. Why don't you do this or that. بس what about how about بيجي بعديهم ing يا جماعة. What about buying? How about reading, doing, etc. تمام؟ طب this is how we make suggestions. طيب how do we accept or refuse these suggestions? So see the first example. That's a good idea. Oh, والله فكرة حلوة, فكرة لطيفة, فكرة طيبة. Okay, that's a good idea. Or مثلا you can say what a good idea. Wonderful idea. Interesting. Let's try that. Okay, فهي طرق كيف احنا نقول انه اوكي والله اقتراح جيد. طب how to say that no, it's not a good suggestion. I don't that will work. I don't think that will work. ما اعتقدش انه هذا الاقتراح عملي او حينفع او حيزبط. Okay. I don't think it's a good idea. ما اعتقدش انها فكرة جيدة. Okay, and vice and etc. Okay, and so on and so on. Okay, so again, this is how we make suggestions. We learn to use should, and now we learn to use why don't we, or what about, or how about. And we learned how to respond to these suggestions. Okay, فلو حد قال why don't you change the modem? Why don't you change the modem? How about connecting a repeater? What about looking on the website? طيب. Now let's do this exercise number 8. Complete these sentences with the words in the books. Between, on, over, to, with. Between, on, over, to, and with. Okay, these are prepositions. Prepositions, حروف جر, okay? And we should complete the missing words to fill the gaps. تمام? Also take a minute, try to fill the gaps, try to complete these sentences. Now remember, we've studied so many phrasal verbs, we've studied so many prepositions and their usages, and now we should be more able to use them properly in a good way, in a correct way. تمام? So try to read these sentences and to think which preposition fits better in each sentence. Okay, take a minute and then come back to check your answers. الناس اللي بتحضر بالنهار أنا آسف يعني الدنيا ليل. Okay, so let's check our answers. Is this software compatible with this computer? So compatible with, تمام? So is this software compatible with this computer? LAN connects devices over a small area. So connects over. LAN connects devices over a small area زي ما تعلمنا المرة الماضية بالدرس الماضي. Is the computer connected to the modem? Is the computer connected to the modem? The LAN always, the LAN allows you to share information between users. To share between users. To share information between users. The last one, why don't you بتذكري هي why don't you اللي قبل شوي كنا نحكي عنها. Why don't you lock on the internet? So lock on the internet. طلع على تشوف الانترنت. تدور بالانترنت. Okay? So these are the prepositions for today. Unfortunately, exercises number 9 and 10 cannot do them because of you know, there should be a face-to-face lecture or something, but online we cannot do them. على فكرة يا جماعة بفكر احكوا لي إذا بدكم احكوا لي بالفيسبوك بالكومنتس لما أنزل أو على الموديل اكتبوا لي بالشات إذا بدكم محاضرات بث مباشر يا جماعة بنجاوب فيها عن أسئلتكم. إذا عندكم أي شيء تحكوه أو حاجة ناقش فيها أي درس بيكون جيد. تمام. فإذا بتحسوا إنكم محتاجين يا جماعة بديل عن المحاضرات الوجاهية tell me and let's see if we can make it. Okay, so now let's talk about the past and the habit. الفرق بين الماضي والمضارع. بس قبل ما نبدأ بهذا الموضوع let's see this first exercise. شوف معلوماتكم يا جماعة شو عندكم معلومات ثقافية. How much do you know about the history of networking? Can you match these events from 1 to 4 to the dates from A to D? كل حدث من هاي الشغلات يا جماعة في أي سنة صار. The creation of the World Wide Web. شبكة الشبكة العنكبوتية أو شبكة الإنترنت يعني. متى تم اختراعها؟ متى أنشئت؟ The start of Facebook, the launch of Twitter, the beginning of MySpace. هاي المواقع يا جماعة متى بدأت؟ لاحظوا يا جماعة the start, the launch, the beginning of كلهم نفس المعنى. إنه بداية أو انطلاق كل موقع من هاي المواقع. The creation of the World Wide Web كان in 1999. عفوا in 1990. In 1990. قبل 1990. The creation of the World Wide Web in 1990. The start of Facebook was in 2004. 2004. Twitter was on 2006. And then we have MySpace on 2003. Okay? So it's good to have these information. To have these pieces of information for you, you know, you can brag about them to your grandparents or something. Okay, this is how Twitter used to look like, zaman. But now it's no longer like this, Twitter. But in the past, this is how Twitter used to look like. Okay, the golden days of Twitter. But still, it's a very cool platform. I love Twitter more than the rest of the social media platforms. Okay, and I want you to think about social media platforms. How much do you spend on these platforms? How much do you How much time do they take from your day and your week and your month and your year and your years? Think about this, because social media takes a lot from us. We can use this time to read about things, to educate ourselves, to be better people, but we waste it on social media. So think about this, and think how, because some people uh, take advantage of Ramadan, because it's a month of you know of doing good deeds, of revising all the sins and all the bad things that we do during the year. So many people take advantage, seize the opportunity of Ramadan, and they fast. um, Not only they stop eating food and drinking water, but also they stop uh, wasting their time on social media. They deactivate their accounts or delete the applications from their mobiles or something, So yeah, let's think about this. Let's think about the time that we spend on social media and how we should, you know, make our best to avoid wasting our times here and there. طيب, let's read this text about Carl's IT career up until now and answer the questions. So هذا الفقرة عن كارل اللي هو بيشتغل بالاي تي، وبدنا نشوف نقرأ الفقرة, to read the paragraph and then to try to answer the questions below. So please pause the video, try to read, and then go back so I can read it for you. Okay? But try to read it first. يعني اقرأوها انتوا وقفوا الفيديو اقرأوها وبعدين ارجعوا انا بقرأها، بس انتوا حاولوا تقرأوا لحالكم بالبداية. اوكي سو ذس از كارل. طبعا ركزوا يا جماعه عشان احنا هناخد واجب عن هذا الموضوع، كيف احنا نعمل زي كارل. اوكي كيف نعمل زي كارل، نحكي عن حالنا زي ما هو هلقيت بيحكي عن حاله. I left school in Cambridge in the UK at the age of 18 and went straight to the University of Bristol to study computing in 2000. I graduated in 2004 and decided to travel around the world for a year. In 2006, I got a job back in Cambridge with the software company ARM. I stayed with ARM for 2 years and then went to work for Microsoft in Seattle in the USA. This is where I am now and I love it. Okay, so this is Kim. He left school in Cambridge. He's from Cambridge in the UK, the United Kingdom, Britain, and then he went to Bristol, studied computing, computer science, maybe, or programming, computing, then he graduated, then he took a year off, traveled the world, and then he went to, he had a job in Cambridge, back in Cambridge, where he is originally from, with a company called ARM. And then he left it to work for Microsoft. Oh my God, for Microsoft, okay? عقبال انكم كلكم تشتغلوا مايكروسوفت بأماكن أحسن كمان. Okay, so when did Carl go to university? When did Carl go to university? He went to university in 2000. In 2000. When did he leave university? In 2004. What did he do after university? He traveled around the world. So notice the past simple. He traveled around the world for a year. Where did Carl go in 2006? In 2006, he went back to Cambridge to work with ARM. When did he go to Seattle? After 2 years, in 2008, after 2 years in Cambridge. Okay, so these are the answers. He went to university in 2000, left in 2004, traveled around the world for a year, Then 2006 he went to Cambridge, and then in 2008, after 2 years, he went to Seattle in the USA. Okay, cool. So this is Carl and all about Carl. Okay, I wanted to give you this today, but let's leave this to next time. تمام. To the next lecture. I want you to be prepared for the past simple, because we will do past simple next time inshallah. تمام. Okay. Okay. الواجب, the homework for this lesson is to write 4 suggestions using, we learned 4 ways of suggesting, should, why don't we, how about, and what about. Okay, so write 1 sentence for each way. Okay, suggesting to your friend ways to fix a problem with his computer, and then write proper responses to the suggestions. تعلمنا كيف نعمل اقتراح 4 طرق، اكتب عن كل طريقة جملة، وبعدين how to respond to these suggestions. تعلمنا برضو كيف نعمل response. Good idea, I don't think it's a good idea, I'll do it, I think about it. Okay, أي شغلة أنتم بتشوفوها مناسبة. تمام يا جماعة؟ هيك بنكون اكتفينا in today's lesson. Next time we will finish this unit, unit 6, and then the next week we start with unit 7, and then maybe we will stop for Eid or something, and then we will have the last unit, unit 8. Again, if you want a live lecture، إذا بدكم جماعة محاضرة مباشرة ندردش مع بعض على زوم، بيكون كويس. تحكوا لي، بس مش هنحكي محاضرة أقعد أطلع عليكم، يكون عندكم أسئلة عشان أجاوب عليها يا جماعة. تمام؟ فإذا عندكم أسئلة يا جماعة عن أي وحدة من الوحدات اللي أخذناها سو فار، اكتبوها بالبوست. أنا بحكوا لي وبعمل بوست مخصص حطوا فيها الأسئلة وبجاوب عليهم إن شاء الله ببث مباشر بندردش فيه مع بعض. تمام؟ That's it for today. وما تنسوا يا جماعة إنه هيكون عندنا من نهاية هاي الوحدة هيكون عندنا كويز، يعني يا الأسبوع الجاي يا إما أول يوم في الأسبوع اللي بعده، بس غالبا الأسبوع الجاي آخر شيء في الأسبوع الجاي، يعني مش الأربعة، هذا الأربعة اللي بعده مثلا. تمام؟ ف يعني استعدوا للكويز. تمام؟ وبالتوفيق.